Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today, Dr. Reavis Mitchell, history professor at Fisk University, and Dwight Lewis, who's a longtime editor and reporter at the TENNESSEAN. We're talking 50 years later about the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King and its ongoing impact. Dwight, you had a lot of opportunities once you became a reporter to interview the assassin of Dr. King, James Earl Ray. He did not fit the profile of an assassin, although there are some things that have come out since then. There's no doubt in your mind that he committed that crime, even though he tried to recant his guilty plea.
There's no doubt. James Earl Ray practically told me that he admits he was involved. He never said, "I pulled the trigger." Mm-hmm. I have a tape of James Earl Ray. This is from '97. I have a '98 tape. I thought he called me shortly before he died, and I thought he was on.
Was he trying to con you? What was he trying to talk to you for?
No, his brother Jerry Ray, who lived up near Memphis, moved here, and who lived up near Memphis, would ask James, said, "James, why do you talk to Dwight? Dwight believes you killed Dr. King." And James would say, "Well, at least he would be fair to me. At least he would be fair to me." But he would say, "Yes, if that's the rifle, my fingerprints on it, I bought it. It was a display rifle." He says, he was a petty thief. That's what, and so he says, "But I wouldn't kill anybody. If I saw you take out some money, I might try to rob you, but I wouldn't kill you."
He had a fascination with journalists. So that woman named Anna Zandu, who he married while he was in jail, and she wrote biographies, and she cast a lot of doubt about not that he did it, but why he did it, and who motivated him, and what.
Well, there was all this talk that he thought he was going to get some money out of it, and he was going to get support. And Dr. Mitchell, he did do a lot of traveling, both after he got out of prison in Missouri and after the assassination, including going overseas. It did raise questions, and of course, Americans love conspiracy theories.
Radical, white, ultra-white supporters who were going to come and make him a hero. And that's what I got from reading Dwight years ago. And I think you were the first one to sort of break that with the fact that he looked for these supporters. And apparently many had contacted him.
Yeah. But James Earl Ray, he wasn't he wasn't a choir boy. He would, but he remember he escaped from Brushy Mountain, tried to escape from Brushy Mountain.
Covered that
in 1977. And called. But the thing was, he was just a hardened criminal. He was stabbed by a group of black inmates at Brushy Mountain. Would not testify against them.
Well, now Lee Harvey Oswald had become famous. It sounds sick, but in these assassination attempts, you write your place in history.
What is it though about Americans that we're into all these conspiracy theories? And the King conspiracy theory is one of the biggest ones. Dwight, you wrote a column just recently in the TENNESSEAN with concerns that the King children have continued to sort of feed that a little bit because they have doubts about how or why their daddy was killed.
I remember going down to Atlanta. Senator Thelma Harper said he might want to talk, and I didn't know who she was talking about at first, but she was talking about Dexter King. And I went down to the King Center one night in 1997, and he was just said the assassination had been painful for his family, but still painful for his family, and they wanted to clear up who was involved. But remember there's a fellow from London, a lawyer from London, William Pepper, had told them that he knew who killed Dr. King, and that what they ended up doing is getting a man named Lloyd Jowers, who lived in Memphis, told them that a black man had killed Dr. King. The TENNESSEAN went down to Florida, found this man, black man, brought him back here, and not Pepper, the lawyer, didn't know it. James Earl Ray didn't know it. Gave him a polygraph test. He had nothing to do with it. So they were so I just wish the King family would accept the fact that Ray did it.
We do now have continued movements in the areas of civil rights that have now gone to things like the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement, and now even in the Never Again movement, the young people's movement regarding changing the gun laws. What we all see, and I think somebody mentioned this earlier, the idea of using nonviolent tactics in order to move forward on these things in a lot of cases.
But I do want to make one point about King in Nashville. In a deliberative speech here at Nashville, Dr. King made the point that he came to Nashville not to teach Nashville. He came to Nashville to learn from Nashville because of what had happened with the earlier student movements here. The activities at Clark Church with James Lawson from Vanderbilt and Diane Nash and John Lewis, how these practice sit-ins, these nonviolent attempts, had set a stage.
Dwight, these new groups that are out there now, Dr. King would be marching with them today?
He would. I went back, I was looking at a piece that I wrote in 1998 and quoted Robert Blakely, who was a law professor at Vanderbilt and the counsel for the House Assassinations Committee, which Ray appeared before. And you know, he says James Earl Ray did it, but he went on to say, he said, he did it, and we ought to be talking about Dr. King being a witness for racial justice, economic justice, and world peace. This is 1998 when he said this, instead of focusing on the responsibility of one individual like James Earl Ray. A leading cause of young black males' deaths is homicide. We ought to be talking about doing something about that, as Dr. King would have wanted us to do. And do we have racial justice and economic justice in this country? And what about world peace? If Dr. King was still alive, he'd be out there marching today.
Dwight Lewis, thank you for joining us. Dr. Mitchell, thank you as well for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us on Inside Politics this week. Hope you enjoyed this particularly special show. Hope you can make it back again for a future show. In the meantime, if you can't get enough politics, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's a new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.